Welcome in, everybody. It's officially week 10, which means we are here to do our buy sells, talk about some start sit decisions. So, as always, once you get here, throw your questions in the chat and we will come back and answer those. We will stay as long as we can until every question is answered. I've got Coach with me here tonight. Tyler is on the way. So, we've got all sorts of things talked about. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to talk a little football.
I know it's been a while since we've had you on here. I know you've been busy, so we appreciate you for being here. Lots going on. I know we are kind of starting to get to that point where we're working towards our fantasy playoffs. So there's lots of things to go through, lots of things to break down. We've already got a first question, Coach, and it's a scary one. Josh says, "Do we drop Bill Krosky Merritt?" Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to drop him in some redraft leagues. So if there's some names out there that are available, I'm comfortable moving on. He's been too inconsistent. He popped up on the injury report today, so we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah, I know you hate to hear that. It's your boy.
It hurts. My throwback jersey too for Bill got delivered yesterday.
Ooh,
Yeah,
man.
I know. It's
How you
tragic.
feel about him, just in general?
I think Bill is. I don't think his story's written yet. I do think that it's becoming more and more of an uphill battle as each day goes on. So we definitely need to keep in mind the expectations of what he can do. Losing, Jaden Daniels, I don't think is going to make this any easier. I mean, he's a big reason why this offense is going, and without him, they're going to struggle. And Bill is certainly a guy that can get it done, but I don't think that he can carry an offense, to be honest.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. It's some of it's just the whole offense, like you said, and then it's not really all his fault. But I'm not sure I don't know. I mean, I see him. He looks fine to me, but I'm not. He doesn't really jump off the screen either.
Yeah, I mean, he's still looked good with the opportunities he's been given, and I know I've talked to a lot about that with you, and on stream, he's someone I really really like, and just given the situation in Washington, there is some reason to believe that he could still be a long term answer, maybe not the long term solution, but at least an answer to this backfield. I mean, they've got a lot of cap space going into next year. Don't have a ton of draft picks. Running back isn't really a position where you want to see them spend up on that. I mean, they have holes on the offensive line, they have holes in the wide receiver room, holes all over the place on defense. So lots of things to pick there. So I don't think that Bill's necessarily going to be a guaranteed casualty as we move through this season and move into the offseason. I think there's a good chance he could probably retain that spot and still be a guy that they rely on.
Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, how you feel about Jaden Daniels right now?
Oh, I mean it's not great. I mean I think basically this Washington season is packed up and ready to go. We kind of move on, and I've talked about that a little bit in the group chats. It was kind of over from the moment they lost to the Falcons. Jaden Daniels being hurt doesn't help. The wide receivers have been injured from the start. And then you add to that the defense has been frankly terrible all over the place. I mean, our DBs are just giving up points for like nothing. So I think that they're in the route right now to really struggle.
Yeah, would you add Mariota on waivers if you needed a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, if you needed a quarterback, you could certainly add him. I think you could do worse. But at the same time, I'd probably look at other names, see who's out there before I add him. I mean, I'm sure Tua's out there. I'm sure Michael Penix is out there. Maybe J.J. McCarthy's out there. I'd probably start all those names over Mariota, especially if he's not going to have Bill, if he's not going to have Terry McLaurin, because it looks like, in my opinion, what's going to happen is we're going to shut down Jaden, shut down Terry McLaurin, and really kind of punt the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of this looks like that's where we're at when it comes to that. I know.
Yeah. We've got a couple more questions in here, Coach. They're starting to build up, so we'll hit those. I know we've got a couple buy sells. We're going to also talk about some big names. We have the trade deadline, so lots to talk about there. But let's hit these pretty quick, Coach. We've got Jared says, "Hey guys, would you trade Mason or Henderson for Ray Davis with the Cook news? Also, Tua Field or Jacoby Brissett for a fill-in quarterback spot." I mean, I'm not really attached to Mason, so if you wanted to move off Mason, that's fine. If you wanted to move off Henderson, he's been really inconsistent. I am intrigued to see what Henderson does this week. I mean, he had a double-digit game, so it could get better. Coach, would you move either of those guys for Ray Davis?
I don't think so. Like I would need some more clarity when it comes to James Cook's future before I did that. That seems kind of a knee jerk reaction to me.
It could be. I mean, it's only Wednesday, so there's lots that could happen between now and then. So I'm kind of with Coach. I wouldn't necessarily jump off to make a deal. Now, if the manager's hamstringing you to get it done tonight, then that kind of changes things. And do you need a guaranteed spot there? Again, we'll have to see if Aaron Jones, there were some health concerns there too. I mean, he got hurt in that game, although I think he still looked really dang good, to be honest, in my opinion. But Coach, what about these quarterbacks here between Tua, Fields, or Jacoby Brissett? To be honest, I'm not starting Fields. Takes on the Cleveland Browns. That's a tough matchup, so I don't love that there.
Yeah, I actually would go Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's playing really well right now. Like I feel better about him than I do the other two.
Yeah, I think I do too. To be honest, that's probably the name I would pick. If we're making waiver claims, I would go Brissett, Tua, Fields. But I'm sure you're the same way. Josh R says might pick up the Browns defense for him and the Bucks for the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. The Browns defense good. Bucks playoffs schedule looks pretty good too. So I don't blame you for doing that. Kind of starting to prep that right now. Jared says, please pick one rest of the season, PPR, DK, Dobbs, or Debo. Coach, who are you picking out of this group?
Probably DK. I think I'm going to go DK. Dobbs. The Dobbs room is just going to get murkier and murkier. I know Tucker Kraft going down makes people feel a little better about Dobbs. But Jaden Reed's also coming back soon. That's going to make it even weirder there to me. It's probably DK, Dobbs, Debo for me.
I think I have to go DK, Debo, Dobbs. Now, Debo's interesting with Terry being out. We do have the quarterback injury, so I think that kind of just makes things more difficult, be inconsistent. But I like DK here. I mean, he's got the most upside. He's going to score the touchdowns. And ironically, maybe in the best offense, as weird as that is to say. Tree Hug and Hunter coach says, is Tez Johnson worth picking up? Wide receivers are BTJ, Odunze, Pearsall, Tet, Boutte, and Alec Pierce. I'd probably hold this group, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll say he doesn't seem any better than those other guys to me, really.
Yeah, I would hold. Donnie coach says Pittman has a booty injury. That's so zesty. Hey, you never know. SW Elbow says Blake Corum is the best waiver running back in my league. Any deep sleepers or rest in peace? Yeah, I mean, Monunga is a name that's out there. He's available in 22 to 24% of leagues. He's someone I would certainly look to. He's more likely than not gone, and that's unfortunate. Some other trending running backs you could look into is Ty Johnson. Kenny Gainwell's available in over half the leagues. They continue to use him. He stays involved.
Ray Davis. Ray Davis is probably available.
Another name that I think is widely available that I'd be interested in is Chris Rodriguez. I mean, when Washington's down and out, they continue to give him opportunities, and they are about to play Detroit without Jaden Daniels. So he could absolutely go off, and then we add to that, we have the injury possible to Bill, so monitor that. Jarrett Patterson, he's trending, had 9 carries this past week, 11 the week before that. I'm not sure that's the route I would go, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, we're talking handcuffs at this point, so a lot of it's just going to be – Rodriguez is a good – he's not a handcuff. He's going to get work.
Yeah. I think it'd be
a good point there.
Corum and Rodriguez, to be honest. I mean, Corum is a guy that keeps getting some games with 5, 6, 7 carries, back-to-back weeks of 12 carries. The offense is good enough. Maybe he finds his way in the end zone. So we'll see. But, Coach, we did just get a super chat from Derek. So let's jump over to that. And it's a Dynasty question. So we love to see this. In Dynasty full PPR, just traded Stroud, Dowdle, and Collins for a 2027 first. And a 2027 first for Justin Jefferson and Olave. How did I do? Thanks. To be honest, Derek, my first question to you would be, is this a super flex league? Because that's going to matter a ton. If it's super flex, then it makes it a little more difficult, and I would rather favor the Stroud Collins side. If it's not a super flex and you've got multiple quarterbacks, Coach, I think that would he got Andrews too. So a little bit more in the package coming back. Coach, how do you feel about Jefferson, Olave, and Andrews for that package he sent off?
I mean, I really like it, assuming you have two other quarterbacks. If you have two other quarterbacks and it's a super flex, I like it. I mean, you're going for it. At some point, you have to do that.
Yep.
And same with the running back room. Like I would want to know how my running back room, how your running back room is also giving up Dowdle, and how dependent are you down the stretch on a guy like Dowdle. You know, I think obviously you got the best player in the deal, and the second best player in the deal that's not a quarterback. So as a whole, I like the deal, assuming you have the pieces around it that you can sustain the quarterback loss.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting Justin Jefferson, to be honest. I mean, he's someone that I think we can buy low. I mean, the quarterback question marks are there, but he still just continues to produce, to be honest. He's not to that point where I think you need to be too concerned. He's 26 years old. Yes, he's an aging asset, but he's still Justin Jefferson. He's still producing. At the same time, you get Olave, a guy who's been pretty consistent, getting a ton of work inside of the red zone. So, if that team can just be better, he does add coach. It's a super flex league. He has Daniel Jones and Tua. It's a tight end premium. So I lost Kraft and needed help at wide receiver. So I get that. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of pushback here, coach, on the point of Rico Dowdle. Like, certainly he's a great player right now, but there's a good chance that he's just got that burn for just right now. You know what I mean? Like, he could easily be faded off after this season. I mean, they signed Chuba to a huge deal, so things are going to get murky. They're going to continue to split the workload. Yes, Chuba Hubbard had less snaps this past week, but I think he's still going to be a guy that's going to get between 30 to 50% of the snaps and the opportunities each week. No?
Yeah. I think you're right there. And I think everyone is a little bit too high on Rico Dowdle. Like, he's hot right now, and I get it. Like, and he may be a league-winning running back right now. I don't know, but long term, I mean, I think it's just going to be he's going to be a solid running back at best. He's not Jonathan Taylor or Bijan long term.
Totally agree. His metrics can't keep up. The team's not that good. And to be honest, like, he's one of those guys where if I'm in a dynasty league and I have him, if I didn't need him and someone offered me a second, I'd probably take it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And just kind of to get a little more on this, coach, just to talk about CJ Stroud. I mean, he's a guy that I think is really falling off. I mean, yes, he's 24 years old, ton of opportunity to still perform. I mean, this time a year ago, this time 2 years ago, his value would have been worth 2 firsts, 3 firsts. Now I think he's kind of slipping back towards just a regular first, a random first, or a late first. His value is not there. He's not produced. So I don't mind you moving him, to be honest. I mean, Daniel Jones is playing much better than him. Tua and Stroud, to be honest, there's not much that different other than the health concern.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's been odd, to say the least.
Yeah. I like the move, Derek, especially given that it's tight end premium and you had Andrews. So I'm cool with it. But coach, and again, Derek, we appreciate the super chat. So thank you for that. And you got some more context, throw it to us and we'll gladly break it down. Juan Deere sends super chat too, coach. You got 2 questions above. So let me find those questions here. Bear with me. Says Knicks or Caleb? Giants feels like it will be more competitive. Coach, are you favoring Bo Nix or Caleb Williams this week? I mean, we're talking about 2 of your guys right now.
You really are here. I really hate to do this because it.
I don't. I want to force you to answer this question first because these are your quarterbacks, man.
I think the Broncos are a safer bet because they're playing, in my opinion, a beat down Raiders team. But now this Raiders team does still have Max Crosby. But I like Bo Nix here for sure. If I'm picking one of the 2, I'm picking Bo Nix. Although I do really like Caleb. I actually was telling Matt a minute ago, the Bears average the 4th most yards per game in the NFL. So, I mean, the offensive improvement there is real, although Caleb drives me crazy at times, obviously. But still, I mean, the offensive improvement is legit, but I'm going Knicks here.
I would go Knicks too. I have Knicks currently ranked as my 6th quarterback overall in the week. You mentioned the matchup against Vegas is just it could easily turn into them just routing them. And even if it's closer, I think that just bolsters the idea that they're going to have to score some points. Like maybe the Raiders do what they did last week, where that game was like 6-9 at halftime, and then suddenly they're in overtime trying to score 30 points. So, easily could score some points pretty quick. At the same time, Caleb Williams taking on the Giants, I think that game might be a little more competitive, like you said. But I also think that this Bears team can run the ball. They look good.
Yeah.
And talk about your boy. I mean, he's back. I think we need to mention that.
Yeah, well, the Bears run game has really just completely transformed. As soon as Darnell Wright came back at right tackle, the entire Bears run game took off, whether it's Monongai or Swift. Like Caleb is playing better, and the Bears offense is better because that offensive line is significantly better. The Bears now have one of the best right tackles in football, and it's showing more and more every game. So there is that. Like, that's made Caleb and the whole Bears offense better. But Nix and his ability to run around and the more stable, I guess you could say stable, well-rounded offensive attack, I guess you could say, when it comes to Denver. And they're playing the Raiders.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, Coach, the second part of his question is start two here. We've got Sutton, Devontae Smith, Henderson, assuming Ramondre Stevenson doesn't play. Good context there. And Travis Etienne. Coach, who are the two that you'd be starting out of this group?
I think I would go Devontae and Henderson if Ramondre sits. Ramondre doesn't sit, it's Devontae and Sutton.
I think I'm going to go Sutton and Devontae regardless, to be honest. Like, I think Sutton's pretty good right now. I think we're kind of sleeping on him. The Broncos team is getting hot at the right time. I get it's not necessarily been the best year for him, but I like Sutton right now, man. I do. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to play Henderson with Ramondre sitting. I think he's got a much safer floor. So if you wanted to guarantee 10 points in that flex position, that's fine. But to be honest, I'd rather start Etienne over Henderson. I mean, Etienne is still playing really good, to be honest, in my opinion. And I think that he's a guy that, we'll see what happens with this Jags offense. They've made some moves, so we'll get into that in just a minute. They are taking on Houston. That's a tough defense up front, so maybe some tough sledding for Travis Etienne. But at the same time, I think he's got just about the same floor as Travion Henderson, but probably a higher ceiling, to be honest.
Well, Henderson is in best case scenario split backfield with him and Jennings right now. He got 14 carries last week. I think Jennings got 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying there. Sutton though has been kind of a pain in the butt too this year. It's been very much a roller coaster ride for Denver. Like, that ball's getting spread around way more than it did a year ago. So, but I'm with you there.
So, okay, well, we appreciate the super chat there. So we'll get back to our questions here. Thank you for that. If you want to skip the line, you can throw a super chat. We've got quite a bit of questions in here, Coach. So we'll continue to carry on. And let's get to our question here from – oh, nope, that's not where we are. We are right here. Need one wide receiver, Alec Pierce, Troy Franklin, or Slayton, Coach?
Alec Pierce has been playing really well.
And AD Mitchell has moved. So maybe
really
there's just more opportunity. I mean, 13 targets last week, 5 the week before, 10 the week before that. So ton of volume for him right now.
Yeah, and Troy Franklin has been a little bit of a roller coaster too. Speaking of the Cortland Sutton, some of it's just the Denver wide receiver room has been like see Cortland Sutton's wide receiver 14, Troy Franklin's 27. I think I wouldn't ride the Alec Pierce lightning right here.
I am too. All right, Coach, another tough one here from Jeff. Gadsden or Loveland?
This is a tough one. I'm going to go Loveland. He really started to show out 2 touchdown catches last week. I think he gets in the end zone again this week. Call him a shot. There it is.
I think your Bears heart is chasing the points. I do love Loveland. I've got a bunch of shares, so I love to see that. I think he's good. I think we're overreacting to the Loveland versus Warren thing. We didn't give him enough time. He started injured. That team's going to get better passing the ball, which we're seeing right now before our eyes. And Loveland's a good player. I mean, he's already forced as many missed tackles just in that one game as Tyler Warren did all season. Just saying. And that matters. That's what Loveland's good at. He's sneaky athletic. So I would start Gadsden, though. He's been too involved. He's been too good. So I'm going to continue to play him, who I can trust.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm probably with my heart a little too much there.
That-
I'll admit
that
it.
was easy.
I admit it.
Miller Trick Shots coach says Week 10 quarterback JJ at home versus the Ravens or Jacoby Brissett away at the Seahawks. Lots of Brissett questions so far. I mean, it's interesting he got the job. Coach and I have said weeks prior to him starting, he's the better passer than Kyler Murray. So I think that the Seahawks defense is tough, man. They're scary. It's a divisional game playing in Seattle. I could easily see Brissett having his flop game. So I would probably go with JJ, just given the weapons he has.
Yeah, JJ's at home. Yeah, like I want to kind of dispel this notion right now that the Ravens defense is bad. Like this is a different Raven defense than the first 5 and 6 weeks.
Yep.
They got back. They're healthy. Roquan Smith is a beast in the middle now that he's back. Marlon Humphrey's back. I mean, this is a different Raven defense than you saw at the beginning of the season. No, so that's something to keep in mind. But I still like the home matchup with JJ better than Brissett on the road at the Seahawks. Mike McDonald is just dialing them up there in Seattle right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, McDonald's locked in, man. I mean, that defense, that whole team is just scary. They look really dang good right now. KJ Frederick Coach says, "What's up, guys? I need some serious help. I need to win this week to have a playoff shot. I have BTJ Myers rostered. Should I drop BTJ injuries for Ray Davis in hopes Cook misses this week?" That's a big question here. I mean, given the fact we have to win this week, Coach, he mentions Myers, so let's talk about that here in just a second too. But let's answer his question. Would you drop Brian Thomas Jr. for Ray Davis?
I mean, if you're in desperate need of a running back, then I would. If not, then I need to pump the brakes on that to see, what the status is with James Cook. I wouldn't just be giving up on Brian Thomas Jr. yet either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Brian Thomas Jr. is still, in my opinion, I think he's still a better player than Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is a solid wide receiver, so don't get any of that twisted. He's a solid wide receiver, but he's not spectacular. He's not. He's a solid complement for Brian Thomas Jr. I think he makes the Jags better, all those things. But I just truly believe that you hang on to Brian Thomas Jr., and ride that out.
Yeah, I think holding on to Brian Thomas Jr. is probably the right play. I think you could, if anything, try and move Brian Thomas Jr. If you're looking to get a spot for Ray Davis, try and trade him. I mean, I understand injury. He didn't practice today. Maybe he doesn't play this week, but he still has some name value. I mean, against Seattle, he scored 19 points. Against the Rams, 7 targets, 3 catches, 31 yards. And then, of course, last week against the Raiders, 65% of the snaps where he got injured, 5 targets, 3 catches, 55 yards. He's still good enough to play. So I wouldn't be looking to just get rid of him. Now, that being said, Coach, let's talk about Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers, the former wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, gets traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which adds to that room, Coach. We saw Travis Hunter hit the IR. BTJ is banged up right now. I mean, is Jacoby Myers someone you'd be willing to buy if he's out there?
I am willing to buy Jacoby Myers. I'm just not going to pay a gigantic price to do it. If I really need a wide receiver that I think can help me, and a third wide receiver or something I think could put me over the top, then I'll buy Jacoby Myers for the right price.
Yeah, I think Jacoby's definitely someone I'd be willing to buy too. I mean, he's a really consistent player. You mentioned it before. He's going to make the Jags better. Is he going to replace either BTJ or Travis Hunter? Absolutely not. That's not what they're doing. I think this is more finding a complement for Trevor Lawrence, and especially giving someone to help him right now because the injuries are racking up. This team's trying to make a playoff push. They've got the wins. The division is up for grabs. Well, kind of. I mean, the Colts are kind of running away with it, but they could easily be a wild card team. I mean, they have the opportunity to do something. They beat the Chiefs, so the wins are racking up for the Jags. They just got to find a way to stay healthy and get in there. The defense is playing well. Jacoby, Coach, I think is someone that's is kind of just underwhelming. When you say his name, I think he doesn't really have the name value. It's not a sexy pick, but at the same time, I mean, we're coming off a year where he had 1,000 yards, 129 targets, and 87 catches, where he finished wide receiver 23. Year before that, wide receiver 24. Year before that, wide receiver 28. If Chris was in here, I could already hear Cronster saying that he didn't have a single drop in 2024. And if we know anything about the Jags, coach, it's that has been a struggle. This year, they lead the league in drop passes with 25. Last year, they were the league leader with 25 over the entire season as well. So I think the Jags have had this issue with catching the ball for some time. Part of it is Trevor Lawrence too, and he deserves some flack there. But talking about these wide receivers, coach, we've both noted it, that it's been a problem for them. And Jacoby, has solid hands. And the GM said it today. That's his superpower. He doesn't drop the ball.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's a really interesting thing considering the Jags more or less traded for a rental here in Jacoby Myers on the expiring deal and gave up multiple picks to do so. So you would think it's possible they feel good about signing him long term. If that's the case, then this offense would have three pieces moving forward. But right now, like you said, he is 100% a compliment for Trevor Lawrence to go alongside of BTJ and Britton Strange when he comes back healthy, which is coming soon. I don't know if it's this week, but it's coming soon. So that's something to keep in mind too. So I really think I would buy Jacoby Myers. I'm not going to overpay, but I would pay a small price if I could get him on my team, no doubt.
Yeah, and we'll get back to the questions here in just a second. I've got one question as a follow-up for you, Coach. Given the fact that you say you buy him, let's say you're a team like Derek who's looking for a wide receiver, looking for some help, and it's a dynasty league, would you be willing to move a second that's a playoff second to go and get him?
Yeah, I would feel really good about moving a second for Jacoby Myers. Mm-hmm. The question is, would you pay a late first to do it?
I would not, no. I wouldn't do that. I think that's too far. I think if I could get him for a second, I'd absolutely do that. I mean, you've mentioned it. He's a perfect compliment. He's probably going to have a good 4 weeks where he has the opportunity to be the guy and score a bunch of points. If Trevor Lawrence in this offense gets humming, which we've seen them spread the ball out, it hasn't been a hyper fixation on just BTJ. They've moved around. Then he has a real opportunity. And who knows, maybe when Hunter comes back, he spends a little bit more time on defense as opposed to offense with the addition of Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I mean, he's wide receiver 20-something, right? I mean, that's just what he is. I mean, historically, next year after, that's just kind of who he is at best. So,
yeah,
I'm with you there. Second's my top dollar there.
Okay, well, there you go. Jacoby Myers is a buy for us. So, go out there and see if you can get him. But let's get back to our questions here, Coach. Jeff says the Browns defense or Carolina's defense this week. I'll pull up Pete's rankings here because that's what we use for our defensive questions we've got here. And looking at that, we've got to say, I don't see his rankings. So I'll try and find those. I'll come back to your questions, Jeff.
I think personally, I kind of lean Browns. Panthers have the Saints at home, right? The Browns are in New York with the Jets. I just think I like both of them. First of all, let me say that. But I think Browns are just a better overall defense.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, to be honest. I think the Browns have a real chance to get after them. I mean, we saw the Jets make some moves on that defense side of the ball. So maybe their offense can possess the ball, make the game a little shorter, and just limit the opportunity of the Jets offense, to be honest. But let's keep carrying on, Coach. Panthers at home versus the Saints or Bucks at home versus the Patriots? I play the Panthers against the Saints.
Yep, no doubt.
Penix, where he has the London stack, or Fields? It's Penix. I'd rather play that than Justin Fields. He could absolutely nuke your lineup.
Yeah, Fields could have a decent day, but he also could be abysmal.
Mm-hmm. July, Coach says, I got offered CMC and Goddard for Josh Jacobs, Zay Flowers, and George Kittle. Do I definitely accept this deal, Coach?
Definitely, yeah, probably. Yeah, give me CMC.
Yeah, CMC is scoring an insane amount of points right now. His volume's absolutely wild, so I would do that. That's fine with me.
Yep.
Knicks or Caleb? I feel like we hit this question.
Yeah, we did. That was the super chat.
Yep. Steven says, pick 3, half PPR, Coach. Debo, Wandale, Dobbs, Etienne, Rashad White, David Montgomery. He has Gibbs. I would go with Debo, White if Bucky doesn't play, and Wandale. If Bucky is playing, then I would go ETN, Wandale, and Debo. Coaches, Wandale for president.
The Bears secondary's beat up bad. They're hemorrhaging receivers, points to wide receivers right now in general. It's turnover or bust for the Bears defense right now. They are getting some turnovers, but their secondary is so beat up. I would go Wandale there, and I agree with you on the rest.
Okay. Well, we will carry on here. So let's get to our next question here. Coach says, pick a flex: Debo, ETN, or Gadsden. Lots of Debo, lots of ETN.
A lot of
questions.
Debo, yeah.
You know, if I had to pick just one, Coach, I'm probably going to take ETN over Debo. I'd start ETN.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I mean, ETN just got 22 carries, man, last week.
Mm-hmm. ETN's good, and that Jacksonville offensive line is playing better than I think a lot of people expected. The run game has really worked. They've struggled throwing the ball, so if they can stay on schedule, then I think he's going to be a fine play.
Yeah, and ETN got all the carries, and Tootin got the touchdown.
Yeah. We've had all sorts of people tune in. We appreciate everyone for being here. So if you could hit that like button, it helps us out a ton. And it's also free of charge. So if you could, throw us a like. Coach Alex says, hey, guys, this is my team for week 10. What do we think? Drake Maye, James Cook, Judkins, JSN, Ibuka, McBride with Rome. And then we've got on the bench Bill, Henderson, Caleb Williams, Jennings, Woody Marks, and Wandale. He's currently 6-3. It's a 10-man PPR league. Coach, what do you think about this team?
Well, something to keep an eye on is the James Cook injury, no doubt.
Yep.
You have some options there to back him up, so that helps in the short term. So that's definitely something to monitor. Other than that, I really like that team. There's no doubt. I like it.
Yeah, I see why you're 6-3. Coach, let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's say that James Cook ends up missing time. We can't go out there and get Ray Davis. Who would you start at that running back position? Would you start Henderson or would you start Bill?
I think I would start Henderson.
I'll be honest.
It hurts.
I think I would too, and it does hurt. Like, there's no way around that. So I would start Henderson. It's crazy to say he has a safer floor, and his floor has felt like nothing. But, it is what it is. Tony, coach, says Jags defense versus Houston, no Stroud, or Ravens, week 10.
Well, I think Jags.
Yeah, I'd probably start the Jags for week 10. Rest of the season, do the Ravens look good, coach, to you? Let's take a look at the Ravens schedule here. I'll get it pulled up. To close out the season, so beginning our playoff run, we're going to have we got the Vikings this week, followed by the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, and then the Packers. And if you're crazy, you play fancy in week 18, Pittsburgh. The final 2 weeks of the playoffs with the Patriots and Green Bay, you don't love that. Those are two offenses that could put up some points. As the Ravens defense, Cincinnati is kind of the wild card of what happens there. They could easily put up a bunch of points, Coach?
Yeah, you're right. But at that point, you can stream a defense if you have to. So, yeah, but in the short term, next 4 weeks, I like the Ravens.
Yeah, me too. KJ says, better start Knicks or wait for Sunday for Darnold, coach? I'd start Knicks.
Yeah, Knicks. Darnold's got the Cardinals, right? Yeah, Knicks.
Yeah. Tip Majors says, yo, what's going on, Tip?
Yo,
it's been a while, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Big Draft Energy Disco says, I know this FF Mediator guy. He's awesome. What's up, fellas? Taysom Hill Nuke Week, coach. What's your thoughts on Taysom Hill here?
Oh, I don't know. Like, maybe. I mean, maybe not. They do play the Panthers. I have no real thoughts on Taysom Hill, honestly. I need Disco to help me here. What are your thoughts on Taysom Hill, Matt?
I mean, I think Hill is a little frustrating for a guy that's trying to watch Tyler Shuck get his first opportunity, coach. He is he's not really done anything this whole year, so I'm not really expecting anything, to be honest. is it possible that he could score a touchdown? Sure. I mean, this team is just frankly not very good right now. So it's tough to really see a world where he ends up amounting to anything. At the same time, taking on the Panthers, who knows? The Panthers could definitely do a Panthers thing and allow him to score 3 touchdowns.
There's a world he gets in the end zone, right? I mean, no doubt.
Yeah. Okay, Coach, well, let's carry on here. Let's get to Trone Force. What's going on, my friend? You're here pretty much every single week, so we appreciate you as always. Trone Force says, lost Jaden Daniels, so traded Parker Washington for Jackson Dart. I also picked up Flacco while on bye as a backup in case Dart gets banged up running. I'm all for trading Parker Washington for Jackson Dart. That feels like basically a free move, especially given now – Parker Washington might have a big week this week with possibly BTJ being out week 1 of Jacoby Myers. But over the next month or so, I think Parker Washington's the guy that we just don't care about.
Yeah, maybe that dude had a bunch of quarterbacks and he really got hosed when Jacoby Myers got traded to the Jags. God.
It definitely, was one of those little balloons just flying out of air. Trump Force, Trump Force says need 2 wide receivers in a flex, Coach, PPR, Nico, Devontae, Olave, Debo, and Jalen Warren. I'm going to go with Nico, which is so gross given the fact it's Davis Mills. Like, shout out to the General Mills. Devontae and Jalen Warren. Actually, Olave and Jalen Warren.
I'm Devontae, Olave, Jalen Warren.
Okay, you're benching Nico.
I am.
All right. Coach, which Buffalo
Davis
running
Mills,
back?
Man.
Davis Mills, man, the general. He's going to get it done.
Well, this is something worth discussing here just for a second. Which Buffalo running back is it? Is it a lock to be Ray Davis? If Pete was on here, it's a lock to be Ray Davis.
That's fair.
Right?
I mean,
I'm not 100% of that is what I'm saying.
I mean, it's worth noting that, Ty Johnson is someone.
I was just going to say that's where I would put my money, but that's not.
I think it would be Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is going to be the guy that gets the majority of the carries and the majority of the opportunity, whereas Ray Davis is the consistent play. Like, he's always getting 20% of the snaps, coming in on third downs, getting a little bit of work out of the backfield, a couple handoffs here and there. But I think Ray Davis is the guy that steps in when they need him, because generally he's not out there playing. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's going to get 12 or less than 10% of the snaps unless he has to step up and carry the load.
Well, Tyler Johnson too is the third down back, so to speak. Like when they need somebody to catch the ball in the backfield sometimes and give James Cook a blow, they'll slip Tyler Johnson in there. So yeah, I mean, Ray Davis is probably the guy to carry the ball. I'm just saying it's not 100%. It's more like 85%.
No. I mean, regardless, here's the key point. Ty Johnson is going to have at least 20% of the snaps. And if James Cook was out, I think Ty Johnson is only going to get more. I wouldn't say that he stays the same or less. I would expect him to have more opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Justin Kyle, Coach, says, I traded Sutton for Genty because my receiving core is stacked. I needed some RB help. Thoughts on this deal? I love it. I mean, Coach and I were very critical of the cost of Ashton Genty during the draft season, but moving Sutton, who's kind of struggled, to get Genty for a guy who's a pretty solid RB2, in my opinion, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the same. I'm with you. I mean, I just think it made you better.
Mm-hmm. Coach Justin Kyle also asked, which defense this week, the Ravens, Bucks, or the Jets? We've talked about the Jets. Yeah, not the Jets. They're taking on the Browns. Yes, there's some opportunity with a rookie quarterback there, but at the same time, they've moved a bunch of pieces. So I wouldn't really take that chance there. Who did the Bucks play again? I can't remember.
I'm blanking. No, the Ravens have the Vikings in Minnesota.
Yeah, let me look. They take on the Patriots. Yeah, I'd probably go with the Ravens, to be honest. That team's getting better. They're hot right now. I think they'd have the better chance to make some plays on defense as opposed to the Bucks against the red hot Patriots right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Nicholas, Coach, says Caleb or Dart for week 10?
I'll tell you something worth monitoring here is possible snow in Chicago on Sunday. The weather there is something to keep an eye on. But I like Caleb over Dart. I just think right now Caleb's better than Dart.
Yeah, I'd probably go. I have them back to back in my rankings. Jackson Dart taking on Chicago. Chicago's given up a bunch of points, whereas we have a little bit more of a closer matchup maybe against the Giants for Caleb Williams. I think that team is leaning on the run game. I think they're going to continue to lean on the run game. So I would probably go Jackson Dart, just given the fact he can run around.
All right. Well, I hear you. Caleb runs around a lot too, but it's just not called.
Let's just do this. You want a pizza bet? Jackson Dart,
yeah,
and Caleb Williams. That's a pizza bet.
All right, let's do it.
All right, who has more fantasy points?
I'm down.
FF Rabbit Dad coach says, "Hey fellas, bold take incoming. Tyler Warren is not startable. Quote, not startable this week against the Falcons." Coach, what's your thoughts on Tyler Warren this week? Do you think that against the Falcons he's currently not startable?
Not startable.
The Falcons are giving up 4.3 points to the tight end position per week. That's number 1 in the NFL. They're not giving up a ton of points there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I would just be – it would all depend on who I have to play over him. Like, who's my next option? Is my next option Harold Fannin? Then I'm with you. Is my next option – I don't know, Theo Johnson?
Cade Otton?
I might roll with Cade Otton.
Pat Freiermuth?
Tyler Warren again. Yeah, I would go with Tyler Warren then. It just depends on who my other option is.
Warren's only had one game this season where he's had less than 4 targets. The Colts are coming off a game where they got absolutely dismantled, and I don't really expect them to do that again. They're playing at home, too. So I would be comfortable starting Tyler Warren, to be honest. But your point is well taken. I mean, the Vikings have been very good against tight ends, so they definitely deserve some flowers there. And only one tight end has caught a pass. Only one tight end has caught more than 2 passes against the Falcons this year. That was George Kittle, both Kittle and Otton goose-egged against the Falcons coach.
Yeah, and the Falcons' defense is much improved. It hasn't resulted to many wins, but is a significantly improved defense.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of something they targeted definitely in the draft. Made a bunch of picks on the defense side of the ball. It was kind of shocking to me. I didn't think that they would step up to the level that they have. They've shut down some good offenses this year.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I would probably start Tyler Warren unless I had another top 12 option to put in.
Yeah. Coach Joe says non-PPR pick 2, Swift, Monangai, Harvey, Henderson, and Aaron Jones.
I think Swift's going to go back to being the guy this week in Chicago. Monangai played good, but we got to remember he was running the ball against the Bengals. So there is that. That's something to keep in mind. And there wasn't another option. So he got the ball repeatedly. They'll go back to splitting. They were basically splitting series before this. So I'm going Swift and Henderson.
I'm going to go Swift and Aaron Jones. I think Jones was really good, really efficient, averaged like 8 yards a carry this past week. The Vikings team kind of getting a little bit back. They got up ahead against the Lions, and they played really well to their credit. I mean, they had to just hold on at the end of the game, but they got it done. Swift and Monangai, a lot of it's going to come down to the health. If Swift ends up playing, then you're going with Swift. I wouldn't play Monangai. If Swift sits, then I would absolutely be intrigued in playing Monangai. Coach, would you be interested in playing Monangai if Swift were to be out?
If Swift's out, I'm playing Monangai without a doubt. Like I play Monangai over all these other guys if Swift is out. One thing that's tempting me, I actually crossed my mind, was would I play Swift and Monangai with this group of people? I would play Swift and Monangai over Aaron Jones, I think.
I don't know if I would do that.
I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying it's a thought.
I mean, sure, it's a thought. But, I mean, Aaron Jones, 42% of the snaps. Again, he missed practice today, so a lot of this depends on his health. Taking on the Ravens, so tougher matchup. At the same time, with only 42% of snaps, being banged up, missing a little bit, 9 carries, 78 yards, 2 catches, 20 yards. we know that passing work is going to him. Mason has not really commanded that at all this year. And in fact, they've really avoided giving it to him. They've ended up using, Xavier Scott out of the backfield as opposed to Jordan Mason. So if Aaron Jones, I know he's going to get that volume there, and I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
All right, well, let's keep going on here, Coach.
Yeah.
And let's get to Antonio's question. This got offered A.J. Brown for Addison. Which side are you taking?
Addison.
Whew. I mean, imagine this trade week 1. People
it's
would
easy A.J. Brown. Yeah.
Would roll your eyes. And I mean, Addison has been pretty good. 7.4 points this past week, 2 catches, 48 yards. Prior to that, 10 points, 17 points, 12 points, and 13 points. So pretty good season so far. A.J. Brown's best game came in week 7 before he missed in week 8, coming off the bye week against Green Bay. Green Bay secondary is looking a little bit better as we move forward. That being said, I know it's not been pretty. I mean, he's 38 overall. Addison's 44 overall, and he didn't play the first 3 games of the year. I'd probably still go with A.J. Brown. I think he has the most upside. I think, if anything, you're talking about 2 guys that are kind of in the same tier.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, you've been very vocal on your thoughts on A.J. Brown. Like,
true.
I have
said
to be
so.
Addison here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love Addison. I do. I just think that if I'm trying to get a wide receiver to command the room for me, it'd be AJ Brown. Now, that being said, if we're talking about a deal where I have Addison and I could go, move him if I have AJ Brown and I can go get Addison, I think you can get a plus just because of the name value.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're not wrong about that. Yeah, people love A.J. Brown. Yeah, you could get it. If it's dynasty, I can get an Addison in a third at least.
Yeah, 100%. So I would be fine with that. SWL Bo coach says Ravens, Jags, Rams defense this week.
Who the Rams have?
The Rams are playing. I just dropped the schedule. Hang on. The Rams are playing. Where is it? They're playing San Francisco.
Rams D is good.
They are good. But the San Francisco offense is just good enough to make that game interesting. It's divisional. They have 2 very good head coaches. They both seem to get after it. Although it doesn't feel like although it doesn't feel like it, the 49ers continue to get healthier as the season rolls on. And I would probably lean I'd probably lean the Ravens still. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to go with the Jags. You got no CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
That's probably the play.
Yeah, Jags. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I forgot about CJ Stroud being out. So that's the route I'd go. Nel Patel, coach, says Marvin Harrison Jr. or Tet this week. Full PPR.
It's Tet for me. Fairly easy because they have the Saints at home and Cardinals are going to Seattle.
Yep, and Seattle defense is really dang good, especially those corners. I mean, Witherspoon, a former Pro Bowl corner, is not even playing because they're so deep at the position. Trump Force coach says the guy who traded me Dart picked him up primarily for Hurts bye week. Made the trade 30 minutes before Myers' trade was announced. I mean, hey, that works. Timing's everything. J-Bug says he's 3-6. I traded away Bucky and Nico for Saquon and T. Higgins. Thumbs up or thumbs down, coach?
3-6 is worth the shot.
Yeah, you're playing for
Saquon kind of got going a little bit, last time out. So yeah, I don't mind it at all.
I like it, to be honest. I mean, I'm a big Bucky believer, but he's been injured, and so that's something that we're going to have to deal with going forward. When will he be back? And then at the same time, Nico is now dealing with the issue of CJ Stroud not playing this week. T. Higgins has played really, really well the last several weeks. And then Saquon, you mentioned he kind of got going before the bye week started. So this is a slam dunk move for me. I mean, this is win now. You have to win every single week. So you have to be willing to make crazy moves. And, some people might say it's crazy, but I like it.
Flacco's made T relevant too, like immediately.
Yep. And man, that catch down the sideline was so nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
it really
oh,
was.
okay. Coach didn't even care. Whatever. T-Bomb says, should I trade Swift, Coach?
I like the Loveland's catch better. Should I trade Swift? I mean, no, I don't think so. In redraft, no. In dynasty, probably. Problem is, we needed to do that a couple weeks ago, to maximize what he was worth. So I think I'm hanging on the Swift.
Yeah, I mean it.
You got to remember,
It
Swift.
depends.
I'm telling you, 2 weeks before Swift was out, they were pretty much in a timeshare. Now,
Yeah,
it might not, I don't know about carriers or whatnot, but I sat right in there and watched them play the Saints, and they alternated series the entire game.
I mean Swift has only had one game where he's had over 70% of the snaps, and it was week 1 where he had 81% of the snaps. Since then, it's 57, 61, 66, 56 in week 6, 54 in week 7, and then 49 against Baltimore. So I'm totally with you, Coach. I mean, this has been a timeshare. It just doesn't seem like it. Now, Swift is going to be the 1A of the group. He is the Gibbs. He's more like Gibbs in that Detroit offense, whereas Monungai is the hammer. He is David Montgomery. So Montgomery, or excuse me, Monungai is going to get his opportunity. He's going to get carries, but Swift is still going to be a guy that they use out of the backfield to catch the ball. He's going to get 2, 3, 4 targets each week. He's still going to get 10 plus carries every single week.
Yep, I'm with you.
So if you're moving him, I think it depends on what you can get.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I just
Albert's,
think, I mean, go ahead. It's fine.
No,
Move
go
on.
All
No, I
right,
really
well,
don't have much else relevant to add.
Okay. Albert says, "What's up, fellas? Appreciate
Albert.
you, Albert, for jumping in. As always, he adds the question: May or Dart this week, Coach?"
I think it's May for me.
Yeah, I would probably go May as well. I mean, he's playing really, really well. You know, can that streak continue? Sure. He's taking on Tampa Bay. Defense is, it's okay. I think May has been really efficient with the ball. The turnovers are still coming, though. And that was something that he had at Carolina, too.
Yeah, you're right about that. I just, right now, he just has a better team around him, too.
Yeah. Coach Willie, Bob Stevenson, a.k.a.
Hey!
Says, gentlemen, look at that beautiful coach face in those pearly whites and that Charlotte 49ers hat.
Big Willie, Big Willie style. Let's go. What's up, man?
I know. It's been a while. Well, we appreciate you for popping in as always.
We need to get
Tyler,
Will on here to talk some ball one of these days.
We do. Will, coordinate that with us. Tyler was in the background.
Will is raising an offensive lineman. Do you know that, Matt?
You told me, Will. So
yeah,
I'm a little sad that I didn't know about this firsthand, but I've learned from Coach, and that's a good place to start.
Matt here is one of the best offensive linemen I've ever coached. That's a true story.
I don't know about that.
It's true.
If you say it's true, then we'll take your word for it. All 10 people watching can hear that, so take that for what it's worth. Coach T-Bomb says, should I hold on to Sharps?
Should I hold on to Sharps? Yeah, unless you can go get something better. I mean, you have some. I mean, what are your other options? If you're talking about trading him, then sure, I would 100% see what I could get. I
mean, I would do the same thing. I think that's probably the right way to approach it, Coach. Of what is out there that you can get. If it's a decent market in your league, then yeah. I mean, I don't know about the Walker manager. It's really more of a pain than anything to roster one or both of these Seahawk running backs. They're too inconsistent. Neither one of them is good enough to command the role, and the offense is frankly spreading the ball out all over the place.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Hey, Will said he's going to send them to us. We're going to work them this summer. We're going to be two-step punching all the way to the store.
Let's go. Kick stepping.
Yeah. We're kick stepping. We're going to be working on our pulls, throwing that arm outside. I'm all for this, man.
Creatine, lifting weights.
Hey, Coach, we talk about this all the time. It's all about being flexible, You mentioned stretching. Got to be able to bend.
Yeah, tell them.
Listen, we got to get folks on this big game. We need to pull up Darnell Wright's cartwheel.
Yes, what a stud.
What a stud. Well, I don't know what happened to Tyler, Coach. We lost him. But we're caught up with the chat. So, Coach, I've got some questions for you. So let's pause and let's talk a little bit about it. It was mentioned here just a second ago, and I want to talk about Drake Maye. Currently, his value is exploding. I mean, we're seeing all sorts of people talking about what is he worth in dynasty leagues. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's currently the quarterback 3. What's your thoughts there on Drake Maye, Coach?
Wow, man. I mean, in dynasty formats, he's worth multiple firsts at this point. Put it like this: like I had the 103 or 104 this past year. I drafted Cam Ward. I mean, I felt good about it. I still have not given up on Cam Ward, but the point being, I'd much rather have Drake Maye. I feel way better about it right now if I had Drake Maye. So I definitely would be willing to give up 2 firsts for him.
Okay. Yeah, I think his value is probably closer to 3 firsts, to be honest. If we're talking about what you can get for a 23-year-old quarterback, he just turned 23. He's attached to New England. They've got young offensive line pieces. They've got a coach who's committed to him. They're committed to the coach. I like what they're doing there, Coach. I have a question for you, though. I mean, is his current status as QB3 sustainable?
I think that's a little high. I mean, don't you? I mean, I don't know that he's that great, but I think he's top 10 long term, top 12.
Yeah, I mean, some of the big, it's really not necessarily been big games for him. It's more of just been consistent play. I mean, 17 points, 26 points, 20 points, 23 points, 12 points, 27 points, 23 points, 27 points, and again, 17 points. So the play has been really, really consistent for him. The touchdowns are aplenty right now. I mean, he's got multiple games with 3 touchdowns, over 4 games, 5 games with 2 touchdowns. He's a sneaky good running rusher, so he can escape the pocket. He's going to get you an extra, 3 to 5 points every single week, just right there running the ball. So I like what he can do. Is he someone that I would say a top 5 dynasty quarterback? I think he's in that conversation now, right, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. Now, I will say, have you came around a little bit on Caleb as it goes with that class? You know what I mean? Like, he's gained some ground too. That class could very well end up being one of the best classes in quite some time. When you really think about it, those guys are coming around.
Drake Maye, certainly he's vaulted himself up there. Jaden Daniels, unfortunately, has the injury, so we'll see what happens with him. I think his value is still sustainable, and I think it's insulated. If someone in your dynasty league is panicking, I would absolutely go buy him, to be honest. It's definitely a move I would make. I'm throwing Tyler on the screen. He's here. Technical difficulties. What's going on, brother? We're talking a little bit of Drake Maye and what his value is right now. Is he a buy or a sell for you, Tyler, in dynasty?
I think he's a buy. I mean, I just don't know what the price is, right? If you probably missed the bubble at this point. If you bought him early in the season, trying to get ahead of the curve, yeah, sure. But I would say right now you're probably having to pay a pretty penny for that, especially in dynasty. So, I mean, you're probably looking at least 3 firsts at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. I totally think it's 3 firsts. And Coach, you mentioned this class that we had with Maye, Daniels. I mean, we've got Caleb Williams. You mentioned him. He's playing better. I think it's going to be a 4,000 passing yard season for him. And then, of course, we have JJ McCarthy, who got another win. I think he's been inconsistent, but maybe that injury hiatus he took is just what he needed. I mean, a little more time in the system, some more practices under his belt, and kind of learning from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, 100%. Penix,
he's
coming a bit of a roller coaster, but I mean, there's definitely big time potential there.
Yeah, so I think that Drake Maye is one of those players that I think his value as a top 5 quarterback right now in dynasty is probably right. But I do think he would be the name that I could easily see get moved out of the top 5 and another name go in as we move through the season, because I think it's more been sustainable play. And to his credit, I mean, they could easily add a big pass catcher, and then suddenly we're talking about a totally different story next season. So, we got a couple more questions here, guys. So let's hit those questions, and then Coach, did you do your picks tonight?
I did not.
Okay, well, that's fine. You failed. Tyler here. We'll start with you. Trade Bucky and Olave to get Lamb. His running backs are Javonte, Tracy, Henderson, Bucky, and my wide receivers are Puka, Olave, BTJ, and Godwin. He's currently 7-2.
Oh man, that's a tough running back room to have. I mean, you've been without Bucky for this long, and you're still 7-2. I mean, I almost say you just risk it and go get Lamb at this point. I mean, you can play the waivers to try to pick up somebody.
Oof.
It's tough. Like, I think you go Lamb, probably Puka and Lamb on the same team would be nuts. So, I'm not thrilled by it, but I would consider it.
Scatterboo being out, that injury helps a little bit, so there's Tracy. That helps a little bit. Bucky, when is the dude going to play? That's the hard part. Like, not this week, it doesn't look like. So he almost acts like not anytime soon.
Yeah, it kind of rolls into our next question here from Joe. Coach, is any injury update on Barkley and Bucky? Bucky still is not practicing, and to be honest, I tend to think that he's not ready. So maybe he needs another week. So I wouldn't really expect to rely on him anytime soon. And as for Barkley, they said prior to the bye, injury didn't look to be that serious. So I would expect Barkley to be healthy. What about you guys? Any difference there, Coach or Tyler?
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
No, I agree. I have Barkley on the team. Here's the issue: is he plays Monday night. So you're not really getting the practice reports that you would expect until then. So it's going to be a little difficult. This is where if you have Barkley, I'm probably picking up like Tank Bigsby, especially in redraft. You're probably not getting Tank off your waivers in Dynasty at this point unless it's super shallow. But I would insure him if you have Barkley. But I expect him to play. Like you said, it wasn't considered to be too serious before the bye.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to Will's question here. It says, what are the chances that Shaheed opens up anything for Kenneth Walker III or Sharps to become the main guy? Or will this backfield be as money as a midnight crunch wrap supreme, bro? That's awesome. Will, I'm not sure anything's going to open up this running back room, to be quite honest. I think that the running back room is what it is, and it's going to stay murky because right now, why would you change it? They're winning, and they're performing well. And, as much as I think Kenneth Walker is a better running back than Sharps, and Sharps is incredibly inefficient, for whatever reason, they love to get down there at the goal line and then just pull him out and throw in Sharps.
Mm-hmm.
That's repeatedly happening.
They do over and over and over again. Walker is better, but they're just going to split it, and it's working for them. Hey, I wouldn't change either.
Yeah. But, Coach, I'll ask you the question. Do you think Shaheed opens up that offense? And I'm going to follow it up with Tyler. I know you're a big Torrey Horton guy. Does Shaheed hurt Horton's value there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. He definitely hurts the value, right? Like, I really thought after this past week that Torrey Horton might, kind of propel himself up the depth chart. Maybe he jumped Cooper Kupp with the injury and everything. I mean, he had a good game. He's had flashes all year, even in the return game too. So I was like, okay, maybe this is it. This is the week, and then we get the trade and the news of Shaheed going, and it's just like they fulfill the same role in the offense. And so it's just kind of unfortunate. It puts a little bit of, water on the fire there, but there's still a lot of steam coming though. So I'm not giving up all hope though.
Maybe Torrey Horton is still a thing here. Shaheed is the deep threat. We all know that. We know Torrey Horton's capable of that. But maybe Shaheed has literally been brought there just for that purpose.
Mike?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach. No, please go ahead.
No, Shaheed is just another weapon. He's another deep threat weapon. All those things are true, and it definitely hurts Torrey Horton in the short term. However, I think long term, Torrey Horton's going to be a better all around receiver than Shaheed.
Yeah.
Like I'm all about buying Torrey Horton all over the place in Dynasty.
Totally agree. And I think if anything, this might be more of a reflection of the injury to Cooper Kupp. I mean, Kupp hasn't been playing. He didn't practice today. So maybe that's an injury that's going to linger on and kind of last a little bit more. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The Seahawks are certainly a good team right now, but didn't they miss the playoffs and they won 10 games last year? So Like, this is a team that knows they need to win. They're in a tough division with the Rams. They're in a tough division with the 49ers. I mean, the Cardinals are the Cardinals. So they know they have to win some of these games. And their playoff schedule, for fantasy purposes or to close out the year, however you want to look at it, is against the Falcons, the Colts, and the Rams. So there's some good teams they're going to have to play there. And they have to play the Rams twice. So,
yeah.
Coach, this one is going to go to you. Has the Steelers defense turned a corner after last week against Indy, and good play versus injury-riddled line of the Chargers, better than Carolina than versus New Orleans? So, good question about the Steelers defense. Tyler, we'll let you start actually with the Indy game, being the Colts fan. So you probably caught more than that than both of us. Do you think the Steelers defense came back to life a little bit there?
Oh, that was such a terrible game to watch. The 1 week that I decided, I was like, all right, look, I've already apologized to Daniel Jones. I'm going all in. Like, maybe this is a year for us. Being 7-1, I was even bragging. I was like, we're the top team in the AFC. And then we came out and did that. I don't necessarily think they fully turned it around, honestly. I think it was just a lot of – Daniel Jones turned the ball over like 6 times. It's really hard to even win a game whenever you do that. However, we still lost by 7. So they still allowed the Colts to put up 20 points, So I don't think they've turned some massive corner. I don't think they made any big splash moves either at the deadline. So I think maybe their floor has increased a little bit, but I'm not like super thrilled to play the Steelers defense right now.
Well, you got to remember when it comes to Indy, Tyler. I know you're an Indy fan, but them making the playoffs is a major improvement. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're obviously way better. He played a bad game. You know, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Has the Steelers D turned the corner? Not necessarily. Crazy stuff happens all the time in the NFL. So. Who knows, right? There's no telling. I said the other day, like, the Eagles lost to the Falcons last year and won the Super Bowl. Like, stuff happens.
True.
And sometimes it's one of those things, when it rains, it pours. And, the Colts couldn't do really anything successful. Jonathan Taylor was held in check. Daniel Jones was struggling in the pocket. So I think it's tough to say. Now, I do want to go back to the second part of this question here, guys, versus good play versus the injury-riddled line of the Chargers. The Chargers adding Trevor Penning from the Saints, I think, is a really underrated move no one's talking about. Yes, they lose Joe Alt for the season, and they already had lost Rashawn Slater. The right tackle that stepped in for Slater has been playing well, frankly. But adding Trevor Penning, you're getting a guy with experience that's been a starter in the league for 5 years now or whatever it is. And he's a plug and play guy. Like, he fits that system. So I think that was a really good move by the Chargers to go get an established tackle to fill in for Joe Alt.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think a lot of people think about offensive line moves.
No, only I do.
well, we all talk about it, right? Like, yes, playing offensive line, you may be a little more in tune with it than most of us. But, like, the thing is people don't think about lines until it comes to rushing efficiency, right? So, like, we talk about how, like, Rico is now leading the NFC as a rusher, and it's because they have a good line, like, that run blocks well. The Colts offensive line, we said it's the best offensive line that Daniel Jones has probably ever had. So it's like the line plays a big part in fantasy. We just don't talk about it as much because they don't score points. So I think it is a good move for them. They obviously need it with having 2 season-ending injuries at tackle. I would say, mate, like, if you're having to play the Steelers versus the Chargers, or you're having, going back to the question which says Carolina versus New Orleans, I'd rather just play Carolina at this point. At this point, you have a rookie quarterback who can make mistakes. Their offense had, like, the lowest time of possession in at least a long time, if not ever. I don't remember the exact stat, but it was like 16 minutes of time of possession or something in the entire game. It was wild. Like, so if you're getting that, I would rather just play the defense against that than taking a chance that Justin Herbert comes out there and lights you up, again.
Yeah. Coach, anything to add, or you want to hit these next questions here?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Let's finish these up.
Will says, I'm holding strong on Tracy. He proved himself last year. He was decent to begin this year. I think this past week was a fluke. I agree. I mean, I'm not going to chase the points of Singletary. And I think I'll speak for the group here. They would agree. I mean, Singletary is what he is. He's a serviceable guy, but he's not a guy to command a role, nor is he a guy to change the offense. Tracy's absolutely a guy that can step in and be the guy. And I think he proved that last year. It was a tough week just overall, to be honest.
Mhm.
So I smashed it with Parker Washington. How do you feel about him this week with the Myers trade? Coach, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. Tyler, do you have any thoughts about Parker Washington? I think if anything, Parker Washington this week would be the best opportunity going forward. It's not playable, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw something scrolling through Sleeper, like just the news. They did say that Parker Washington is still going to play in the slot this week. So I don't think his role change, at least for this week. Jacoby will be outside. Maybe it's more of an indictment on Brian Thomas Jr.'s injury. I don't know if y'all talked about that at all, but I mean, I'd be willing to play Parker this week. Now going forward, like you said, maybe it's a little more hesitant. You may play him this week, next week, wait and see kind of deal. I'm not really necessarily thrilled about pivoting to Franklin or either of the tight ends as a flex. I mean, that's not that enticing to me.
Yeah. Torrey Horton should at least be a good play this week as a bye week plug. I can't see Shaheed doing much just arriving. And after the trade news, you can probably still get Horton off waivers. I think you're probably right, Will. I mean, I think that's a good point that, Shaheed coming in, there's a good chance that maybe he plays or they kind of just put him in certain packages as opposed to being out there as a full-time guy. And Horton has been really good. I mean, there's been some games where he's had some missed opportunities where there's been a PI or maybe he got caught or hawked down at the 1 yard line and he was just a little bit away from scoring a deep bomb touchdown. So he's a guy that can easily have more fantasy points than what he has already.
Yeah.
So Will says hit that like button. And then Coach, to your point, Tree Hugging Hunter says also the Steelers, he's a Steelers fan here, and he says they got lucky last week, and they're going to be the highest paid mediocre defense in the league. That's a good title. Washington is going to be the oldest terrible defense in the league. So shout out to my boys. Icky says PPR, would you trade Henderson away for Tet? Heck yeah, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, I would. My running backs are CMC, Monungai, Woody, and Singletary. My wide receivers are Jefferson, Olave, and Golden. I get you need Henderson kind of bad, but at the same time, I'd rather have Tet McMillan.
Yeah. Rookies
Coach,
look better.
Yeah, I would have Tet. I don't think it's very close, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we are officially caught up on questions. We've hit hour and 15 minutes, so I think that's going to do it for us. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. Be sure to subscribe to the Face Off Sports Network and hit that like button. If you have a comment, come back and hit that. If you want to check out my running back video, it is out there. Tyler's tight end video is going to be posted, I believe, tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
So lots to do. Check out there. Coach, any final thoughts?
No, just good to be back on here. I've been doing a million things when it comes to the coaching realm these days, so I appreciate it.
He's out there doing the things. So we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you next week.